Archangel Michael, review, reveal, reflect. The wondrous new vision, a powerful probable future for humanity and the earth has taken shape, and is being strengthened and magnified moment by moment. A future whereby all humanity, as well as the mineral, vegetable, animal, human, devic and elemental kingdoms, will peacefully coexist on earth. An earth which is pristine in its beauty, and which has sparkling clear water, and clean healthy air to breathe, a world of abundance and plenty, where no one suffers from lack of adequate food, shelter, or opportunity. It will be a world whereby different races, cultures, beliefs, and traditions are honored and respected, where no one tries to force their beliefs on others, or deny others the right to live their own truths, and follow their own customs. Archangel Michael. Beloved Masters, what does spirit look like? Gaze into a mirror and look deep into the reflection of spirit within your eyes. Gaze into the eyes of a child and see spirit looking back at you. Gaze at the sun, the moon, the stars, a mountain, a lake, a tree, a flower, a bird, or an animal, and know that the Creator is radiating the love/light of its spiritual essence to you through all of its creations. Old truths are being replaced with higher truths as you become spiritual adults. The way you view yourselves, your world, solar system, and universe is rapidly changing as your consciousness expands, and you gain access to the intricacies of the cosmos. You are feeling the changes at every level of your beingness, whereby at times, it seems as though your four lower bodies are rebelling. As they go into overload or take in more refined energy than can be easily accommodated. You must realize that more is not necessarily better, and you should always ask that you move through these times of great change with ease and grace. As old boundaries, superstitions, dogma, and limitations fall away, you are feeling vulnerable, and it seems that there no longer are any set guidelines to follow. There is such a tremendous amount of new information available, some conflicting, and some validating that you may have accepted as your new truth. Please be aware that your truths will constantly expand and change as you move up the ladder of expanded awareness and enlightenment. Time as you know it has speeded up so fast you can hardly keep up. The hands on your clocks are moving so quickly that you are often shocked that the day is gone, and it seems as though only a few hours have passed. The months and years are whirling by so quickly it seems as though you are on a crash course with your destiny. You are shifting in and out of the myriad energies of the multi-dimensions, which is one more reason why it is so critical that you stay grounded and focused in the moment so that you don't lose yourselves or your way. By that we mean that you are responsible for the powerful, higher vibrational frequencies that you integrate, for with this new energy comes the ability to co-create more and more quickly anything you put your mind on, and feed energy. It is more important than ever to remember the saying, be careful what you ask for. Preoccupation with the past or future prevents you from experiencing the now moment, which is the moment of your God power. Learn to experience the freshness and joy of being fully in the moment. As with all new habits, it will take a little practice, however, it will soon become a natural state of awareness. Some of the challenges, shifts in consciousness, and radical changes do not seem to make sense. Why would you manifest an illness while on your way to becoming a master? Why would you manifest a situation whereby you would have a bizarre accident, lose your job, your income, or a beloved partner? Remember, your higher self sees that you are confronted with the challenges and tests that you agreed to at the appropriate time for your growth and better understanding. If you do not understand a situation, rise above it and endeavor to view it from a higher vantage point. Remember that it is not always about you. You only think so because you tend to take everything so personally. Also, remember that you are in the process of transmuting all that is not based on integrity, self-empowerment, and a unity consciousness, or the frequencies of unconditional love. Perfection is not a requirement. In fact, it is unattainable except within the heart of the Supreme Creator. All else is less than perfect in varying degrees. It is about becoming the real you, and moving on to the middle path, while existing in a world of duality and polarity. You have opened a Pandora's box that has been stored deep within your psyche for thousands and thousands of years. It contains all your core issues and beliefs about self-love, lack, and limitations, about your worthiness of love, joy, peace, abundance, and vibrant health, as well as your feelings about aging and the continuity of life. All these outmoded beliefs which do not serve your higher good are roiling up into your consciousness, so they can be released and requalified into a higher frequency of light substance. Money is only a symbol of the opulence of the universe. Money, like everything else, has its basis in a spiritual thought. Claim and affirm a never-ending supply. You are becoming more intuitive and your telepathic skills are increasing by leaps and bounds. You are connecting with the many facets of your vaster oversoul, and your God Ray, I Am presence, is now taking an active role in your transformational process as it filters to you the refined energies of new creation from the Creator Source. You are affecting everything around you during this process of refining your energy fields, for, as you evolve inwardly, and send forth higher frequencies of light, everything around you must also change. You have been told over and over again that you first must teach by example, and this is true. What better way to get people's attention than to become very successful at whatever you choose to do, to have vibrant glowing health no matter what your age, to display astounding and innovative creative abilities, and to be so loving and generous that others are awed by your compassion and your ability to see the best in everyone in every situation. The initiation process, or your transition into a spiritual/human being, is also accelerating exponentially as you analyze, resolve, release, and realign with your new integrated frequencies of light. And all of this must take place while you are living within the framework or reality of the mass consciousness belief structure. The process of ascension or enlightenment in ancient times involved isolation away from other people and everything within the mundane world. It involved years upon years of intense study, discipline, and very difficult trials and tests before an initiate could move to the next level of the path. It involved tests so strenuous and dangerous that many times you perished, or were maimed for life. You were placed in situations whereby you had to slow your breath and still your life force so that you could remain alive for several days without food, water, and very little air to breathe. Those tests were arranged so that all your weaknesses would come to the fore, and all your deepest fears would rise to the surface, and would be exaggerated. If you had not learned to still your mind and your bodily functions, and, most importantly, to stay in the still point of the moment, you would either go mad, or perish from extreme fright. Those times are past. The ascension process is now geared to the masses, and not just the select few. You must pass all the tests of initiation as you go about your everyday life, tests which are brought before you in everyday situations. Each test you pass, or each lesson that you gain wisdom from, removes a portion of the remaining imbalanced frequency patterns within, and after a time you become more proficient in getting the big picture, and learning to move through the distorted patterns more quickly. As your proficiency increases, you are not moved so far off center, and you do not dip into the deep levels of fear and despair of the past, but are able to maintain a more balanced level of awareness. You stop looking outside yourself for validation of self-worthiness. You know within your heart/soul that you are perfect and exactly where you should be at each and every moment in time. You also allow everyone else to seek their own path, in their own time, and in their own way. The celestial winds of change are growing stronger and stronger as they permeate everything and everyone on earth. All must evolve, or devolve. Nothing remains static. The event called the Harmonic Convergence in 1987 marked the time when the frequencies of Creator Light were greatly accelerated, and, if you were ready and willing, you were catapulted into a greater level of higher vibrational patterns. Each level brings new gifts of awareness, but also more responsibility. You are learning to take personal responsibility for yourself and for all you create. Several years ago, we explained that as you move upward on the path of ascension, your spectrum of choice narrows as you move on to the narrow path. This means that you must always strive to make the highest choices, and many things that seemed appropriate in the past will no longer be tolerated. Your body will quickly let you know when it wants you to eliminate various foods or habits of lower frequencies, and, as you become more attuned to the wisdom of your body elemental, it will apprise you of what you need to do for maximum strength and health, and also what you must eliminate in your life. This may vary from person to person. However, if you wish to gain or maintain maximum health and vitality, and be able to integrate higher and higher levels of divine light, you had best take heed. New modalities for healing are emerging every day, and humanity is slowly becoming conscious of the fact that each person is responsible for their own health and well-being. The medical profession will slowly change into a prevention mode rather than a repair the damage mode. We will stress once more that light, sound, and color are the modalities of healing, balancing, and harmonizing the human vehicle, and the use of these gifts will greatly accelerate the process of transformation. As you move deeper and more fully into your spiritual adulthood, can you not feel the connection between us intensifying as we shower down upon you all the radiance of our Father/Mother God's love from the highest realms of the universe? Yes, it is time for each of you to acknowledge and listen to the divine voice of the Creator within that is waiting to answer your every question, and supply you with all the knowledge you need to move forward into the new age and evolution of humankind. It is time for you to determine which path to enlightenment you will follow, what rings true for you within your sacred heart. There is only one truth, and that is the eternal truth of the Creator, but his has been fragmented into many energies, thought forms, and levels of truth. It is time to follow the nudgings of your higher self as you claim the truth that resonates clearly within, and then follow it unerringly. Very soon, the time will come when channeling or telepathic skills will be commonplace around the world as more and more blessed souls clear the distortions which lead to a reconnection with their divine self, and the wisdom therein. You are being given every opportunity to open or clear the pathway to your vaster self so that you may receive clear, concise information critical to your growth and transformation process. But you must begin by listening to the small nudgings you receive during the day or night, and after validating them in your heart/soul center, follow the guidance that feels appropriate, which should always be empowering, expanding, and loving. The Supreme Creator radiates forth pure life force essence called adamantine particles. The love essence is from the Mother Creator, and is emotional in nature. The light essence is from the Father Creator, and is mental in nature. It takes a unification of both in order to create matter. The light or divine cosmic love/life force from the heart center of the Supreme Creator is filtering into the places where the deepest, darkest shadows dwell, both in the world and within each of you. This creates a process of distortion, often confusion, fear, and discomfort. There is an ebb and flow of energies as the light gradually overcomes the shadows and they eventually melt away. Many of you are having experiences where you feel you are being bombarded by some external source. Know that it is your own inner demons you are facing, giving you an opportunity to, once and for all, release all the negative energy patterns that you have been carrying since the beginning of your first physical embodiment. It is of major importance that you discipline your mind and thoughts. What do you wish to carry forward with you into the new age of enlightenment? Your focus should be of both an internal nature and an external nature, for, as you transform and raise the frequencies within, your outer world will radically change also. You are responsible for how you use your gifts of spirit. It will not serve your highest good to gain great riches and then hoard them. As you gain and incorporate the fullness of your God ray, the attributes, qualities, and virtues, wondrous things begin to happen in the world around you. The galactic prosperity gateway opens wide, and the wealth of the universe pours down upon you. There is no virtue in poverty. That is an old, outmoded thought form created by those who sought to suppress you and gain power over you. Money is a symbol of the opulence of the universe. However, spiritual wealth encompasses many things: a healthy body and mind free of disease, full of vitality, youthful and filled with a zest for living, and creating anew, satisfying relationships with a great variety of people, from your close physical family to your extended spiritual family. You may have different viewpoints and be at varying levels of awareness on your spiritual paths, but you honor and allow each and everyone to follow their truth in their own unique way. You set boundaries and honor and nurture yourself so that you will be capable and worthy to receive increasingly higher, more refined gifts of love/light from our Father/Mother God. You seek a working environment that supports and demands the highest integrity from everyone involved, and you choose a career that brings you great joy and satisfaction, as well as appreciation and financial rewards. When you are soul-focused and divinely inspired, wealth becomes an enhancement to your spirituality, for you can live graciously, yet simply, and all your desires are met without thinking about what they are. You share freely with those on the path who have not yet learned the laws of abundance. You will be their example and their partner as you give guidance and a helping hand when appropriate. Your treasure chest of wealth will contain a plethora of creative thoughts inspired by your higher self and downloaded into your consciousness when you are ready to take advantage of them, and through your conscious intent, you will begin the magic process of bringing them into material manifestation through your actions. We emphasize what we have said many times before: you can have or become anything you can envision. This is the era of new creation, with a never-ending supply of primal cosmic life force substance at your fingertips, just waiting for you to mold it into the stuff of your dreams and visions. You have suffered enough poverty and deprivation, beloveds. Are you ready to reach out and claim the treasure chest, with your name on it, that has been held in trust for you? It has been waiting for you to awaken and to be bold enough to demand your birthright. You are the prodigal sons and daughters who are returning to the realms of all possibilities, under the protection of your Father/Mother God. The emphasis which humanity places on the present calendar and timekeeping process has no significance in the higher realms. However, at many levels there are great events now in progress which are of vast importance. The upward spiral and quickening that are occurring throughout this sub-universe is affecting every facet of creation, from the greatest to the smallest. Time as you know it has accelerated to the point where, in truth, you are already experiencing the energies of the much prophesied coming of a new age of enlightenment. The DNA grid lines of the Earth are being purified, realigned and strengthened. The Earth, as we are gaining access to the multiple strands of DNA which will assist her into her return to a higher state of being. You are all having difficulty keeping up or integrating the refined energies that are being constantly radiated down upon and through you. Some of you have moved to a level where you must step back and allow your external world and your physical vessel to catch up with your inner vibratory field. Never before has humanity, nor any race or civilization, in this universe, moved forward so quickly and dramatically in the evolutionary process as you have in the last 50 years of your time. So is it any wonder that you are feeling dizzy, disoriented, confused, out of sync with the world around you, and oftentimes discouraged? Our promise to you is that this too will pass, as you begin to be more comfortable in your new radiance and body of light. You will step gracefully into the next level of awareness, and will gradually perfect the skills, integrate the wisdom, accomplish the opportunities, and overcome the challenges that are presented to you. You must flex your spiritual muscles and lay claim to your newfound power. That is why we are showing you that you are the student, the teacher, and also the master. No one else knows better than you what is right and appropriate for you in each and every moment, and in every situation. You have forgotten how glorious it was in your home in the higher dimensions, but you have also forgotten how dark, dense and painful the world has been for so many thousands of years. The progress you have made in the last 100 years is astounding. Please do not forget that. You have passed through the valley of darkness, and the light of the new dawn is on the horizon. Bold hearts. The shield of the threefold flame blazes brightly across your heart center, and the spark of the Creator shines forth for all to see. Now that our Father/Mother God is taking an active role in the grand process of reunification, you can be assured that your world, your reality, and everything you believe to be the norm will change dramatically, and at an ever-accelerating pace. Within the great cycles of expansion are smaller cycles of expansion, wherein there is a process of cleaning or harvesting all that is in harmony with the Creator's plan, followed by a contraction or reformation of all that is disharmonious. Energy is never lost or destroyed, it is remolded, transformed or modified into a different form and vibrational frequency. The lower vibrations and distortions of the third/fourth dimensions are being sought out and penetrated at the deepest level by the awesome power of Creator Light. That is the process you, the earth, and all creation, in this universe are in the midst of at this time. Each phase of the divine plan is imprinted holographically in the Earth's auric field, and there are memory seed atoms that are, periodically, ignited within each of you, nudging and inspiring you to prepare to fulfill your part of the plan. It is carefully orchestrated so that if one of you abdicates, there is always another brave soul ready to step into your assigned mission. The divine plan will not be denied. There are wide parameters, however, it is fail-safe. The holographic pictures that have formed your realities are shifting, and many of you feel vulnerable and left without an identity that you can relate to, or parameters to guide you. Over these many past traumatic years, you have gone through the process of releasing much of what you thought was important in your third/fourth dimensional reality, surrendering many of your relationships, your possessions, your perception of what and who you were as you moved into harmony and attunement with your higher self. Gradually, you were able to access more refined energy, higher frequencies, new information, and greater wisdom. Eventually, you are becoming more comfortable with your fourth dimensional reality as you work through even more negative and emotional energies that came bubbling up from within your subconscious mind as you swept out and cleared out molded perceptions. The pulsating, transforming light frequencies reverberated throughout the depths of your cellular structure and began to break loose all the impacted core memories that have accumulated down through the ages, stirring them up and moving them out to be released and replaced with divine light substance. As you began to resonate to a quickened vibration, more of your vaster being, your soul self, your higher self, your Christ self, and your God Ray began to, once again, take up residency and dominion within your physical vessel. You have a whole new set of rules to live by, a wonderful plethora of exciting information, new wisdom, to assist you to function in this new reality, in which you now find yourself. Joy and bliss have become the norm, and gradually you are beginning to manifest your dreams and visions, and come together with those you recognized instantly as your soul family. You should make ready to share, teach, and project this new vision, this new persona you have taken on as, from your point of view, the world becomes brighter and brighter. For some of you, it seems you have taken a step backward, and many of you have suddenly manifested dramatic illnesses that you do not understand. Obstacles have been placed in your way, hampering your progress in what you thought was your mission and your gift to humanity. Many of you can no longer find the solace in meditation, or reach upward or inward and tap into the loving feeling of oneness with the beings of light. You feel a void, a sense of loss, or at least a sense of unreality. Let us reassure you, beloved ones, it is all a part of the process. These past 20 years have been a time of great acceleration. We are infusing you with the maximum amount of divine light substance that your physical vessels can contain. In doing so, it has jolted or sped you along the path of initiation, or upward in the ascension and transformational process. We repeat, for it is important that you understand the process each time you lift your consciousness or tap into a higher frequency and incorporate it in any part of your being, whether it is physical/emotional/mental or etheric. It permeates the very depths of your essence and releases any corresponding impacted or negative energies that resonate at a lower frequency. Many of these energies were imprinted in your etheric and emotional bodies during those ancient experiences of your earliest physical incarnations on the earth plane. They are very powerful indeed, and have affected you in every lifetime you have experienced since, adding to and magnifying the negative energies, until they held you in bondage, creating pain and suffering. These are energies that have kept you from having the perfect health you desire, the strong, attractive body you dream of, the abundance, the power, the relationships, on and on. And so you see, in order to assist you, and keep you from going into overwhelm, your higher self puts you in what might be called a null zone, or a period of no time. These are terms that are currently being bandied about in connection with the photon belt, and are valid concepts. And they also apply to you personally. Your Earth's rotation is slowing due to the decrease in planetary magnetics, while at the same time, the vibrations or frequencies of your Earth are increasing. Every human being living on the Earth is being affected by the shift, as well as every other living thing that exists on the planet. At least, each being is trying to match these new frequencies in order to stay attuned to the Earth, as the old frequencies are no longer tolerable. Those of you who are the way showers, the light warriors, have far exceeded these base frequencies, and are functioning from a much higher resonance. Your reality is centered within the etheric body of the Earth that has moved into the mid-level to the upper planes of the fourth dimension. But, your beloved planet is also progressing rapidly, and, as it does, your reality must continue to change. All that you thought was your truth, your new way of functioning and being, your new identity, is swiftly melting away. A new holographic picture is emerging. And, in your uncertainty, you wonder where you fit in this new scheme, and what are you to do now? How do you picture yourself in your future world? What is your greatest desire? What do you wish to become? Again, precious ones, we say, relax, release, and realize that this, too, is just a part of the never-ending spiral. No longer will you be allowed to stagnate or even stay at a certain level very long time, and the process of transformation are moving too rapidly. Your language is changing. Your thought forms are different. The old areas of your brain which contain your past are gradually being refined or released, so it is beginning to seem as though everything that happened before, even last year, is a vague dream. Active, creative intelligence, plus divine will tempered by love wisdom, plus intention results in creative intellectual thought patterns, when radiated forth through focused action gradually results in material form. New areas of your brain are being activated, and you must learn to think in a whole new way. Light packets of information, holographic pictures of great significance, and sacred geometric patterns will begin to come into your consciousness, and you must learn how to decipher these. It may seem as if those you are moving beyond no longer understand you, or you cannot find words to carry on the old mundane patterns of conversation. You will also find that you do not need to verbalize every thought, as you begin to telepathically pick up the energies and thoughts of those around you. You will not need words, and you will not be easily deceived. You will speak your truth with spiritual integrity, and you will no longer play the games of the past. As you don your refined, spiritual light garments and awareness, be gentle with yourself. You may feel very vulnerable at times. You may feel as if you are losing an important part of yourself, and this is true. But it is a part that no longer serves you, even though you have become comfortable in carrying this old baggage around. It is time to release all that you cannot take with you as you move back into your perfected form of light. You descended first into a beautiful, perfect etheric form called your etheric web, and then you began to mold your physical body around it, a divine body brought forth from the mind of the Creator. So see yourself shedding the anchors and the weights that are keeping you walking the depths, in the quagmire, the fog, and illusion of the lower dimensions. Allow yourself to shed the layers, the burdens that are keeping you stuck or anchored. Allow yourself to soar, once again, into the rarefied heights. You are refracted light of the Supreme Creator. You see through aliens made up of vibrational frequencies, which are composed of thought forms, intention, and actions you have created over many thousands of lifetimes. Are you aware that those of you who have advanced your frequencies and resonance beyond that of the Earth are actually assisting your beloved planet to move higher up the spiral? That is part of your mission, dear ones, to assist your brothers and sisters, but also to be light streams that become stronger and more buoyant, lifting the mass consciousness, clearing the golden etheric web of your Mother Earth so that she, too, can once again claim her destined position in the grand drama of evolution. We implore you, do not become attached to any way of being, any one modality, any philosophy that is too narrow or structured, or buy into any agreement that gives power to someone outside yourself. Discernment, discernment, discernment. We cannot emphasize this enough, for as quickly as an apparent truth comes forth and you incorporate it into your belief system, it may be superseded by a higher truth or a new concept. In looking back, can you not see that much of the knowledge you now accept as your absolute truth was beyond your wildest imagining 5 years ago, or even a year ago? Be aware that what you are so certain about today will undoubtedly change tomorrow, or next week. That is why you are feeling so vulnerable, beloved ones. You are shedding density and integrating light, and so is your world, and everyone around you. You are in the midst of an ongoing dream that is fast-forwarding at an accelerated speed. If you allow the fixations of the past, and those antiquated energies, to emerge, to be transmuted or dissolved, if you do not try to hang on to the old patterns, thought forms or structures, you will not feel so distressed, so out of control. You must admit that this is not a time of boredom or stagnation. Indeed, it is what you have yearned for since that time long ago when you merged your magnificent spirit self into the limiting confines of a physical structure. Awaken each day in joyful anticipation, with great expectancy. Allow the day to unfold in its perfectness, gifting you with new delights, releasing you from shackles of the past. As we have stressed, over and over, stay in the event of the now or in the still point of perfection, and in doing so, you are focusing on what is occurring in the moment. Each moment, each thought, each event is of vast importance, for the treasures of new wisdom, new insights, new powers of reasoning, and new gifts are pouring forth at an astonishing rate, and you must be open to receive them. With each new impulse of a higher vibration, a portion of your existing reality begins to dissolve as the pattern repeats time and time again. You cannot fail, you can only hold yourself back and create discomfort if you struggle and keep yourself submerged in the old density. Accept these most precious gifts that are being offered, become your own sacred witness, as you glean, sort, release, and refine the information and experiences that move into your awareness. Do not become bogged down or attached to any set pattern or modality as you gradually emerge from the cocoon of a physical human being into the crystalline form of a spiritual human being. Allow yourself to ride the crest of the mighty waves of transformation. All the forces of heaven are with you. The power and magnitude of the Supreme Creator is awesome and beyond human comprehension. It is the driving force beyond everything that has ever been, or ever will be created in the omniverse. It is time you remember how to harness and use the life force of creation as you reclaim your birthright as a co-creator of joy, peace, and abundance. The Creator via our Father/Mother God supplies your life force via the silver cord, often called the rainbow bridge of consciousness, through your God ray, and finally through your higher self as it filters down through your crown chakra and throughout your etheric, mental, emotional and physical bodies. However, there are many factors that determine how much of this radiant life force you can access, or draw to, and through you. The majority of humanity is on a starvation diet in more ways than one, primarily because they have shut down the connections to their soul and higher selves, and also have what could be called an armor of distorted energy created by all the third and fourth dimensional distortions. They have forgotten that all the life force they will ever need is available within that vertical tube of light, and so they seek to tap into the energy of those closest to them, horizontally, through the 3 lower chakras, and especially the solar plexus chakra. This has created the push-pull dance and struggle for power and supremacy that has been prevalent on your earth for many thousands of years. Eating solid food is a process in the physical world of reality. It does not determine your consciousness. When you bless your food and give thanks, you change the vibrations of the food. Your focused intent is important. It is more important what comes out of your mouth than what goes in. If you are attuned to your oversoul/higher self, you will know when it is a time to refine your diet to fit your vibrational frequency level. The strongest force in the omniverse is the love force, which is radiated through the essence of the feminine or goddess energy of the Creator. The masculine essence of the Creator creates the seeds of new creation within its mind, resulting in a divine blueprint which is then enfolded within the love color, or the emotional nature of the goddess essence. A wondrous and magnificent process is thereby initiated, resulting in creations beyond your greatest imaginings. You, as humans, are one of those magnificent creations. There was a time in your ancient past when the aspects of the Mother Creator were the dominant energy and focal point of worship. For many thousands of years, it has been a patriarchal world, and the Creator has been envisioned and acknowledged in only the male aspect of its greatness. Just as you are bringing together all the parts of your vaster being, it is time to reunite and acknowledge the wholeness, as well as the many expressions of the Creator. The goddess aspect, the Mother God, or the feminine energy of the Creator, is radiating more of her attributes and energy throughout the universe at this time. The attributes of divine love, compassion, illumination, nurturance, gratitude, faith, creativity, and the inner focus and awareness of spirit. These blessed energies will enhance, refine, and complement the masculine aspects of the Creator, divine will to create, wisdom, truth, valor, decisiveness, and power. Spiritual Guidance, April 2025. Love lights the way. Here's my spiritual guidance, April 2025, covering the lunar month beginning with the Aries new moon and partial solar eclipse on March 29th at 10:47 am in the UK, through to April 26th. Every new lunar month I draw one card from the Thoth Tarot to spark intuitive insight about the key energy to navigate by during the coming 4 weeks. I then take a quick look at the astrology. Spiritual Guidance, April 2025. Inspired by the tarot, we are in an eclipse season, having had a partial lunar eclipse at the last new moon. This Aries new moon balances that with a partial solar eclipse. Both mark intense shifts of energy, usually bringing with them endings and new beginnings that impact the following months, and even years. This was made very clear by last month's guidance, so you might want to read or revisit that, as it will set the context for this month's reading too. If you prefer to listen to a spoken version of this article, play the video below. Otherwise, read on. Unusually, I drew a card that appeared only 3 months ago in January, the Four of Cups. It states emphatically that connection to your spiritual and higher consciousness is the key to navigating the month ahead in the best way. Anchor your emotional stability in this inner felt and known state of peace, love, justice, and mercy, through a relationship with the divine source of all these qualities. You're going to need it, and it's the way forward. Although the number 4 is stable, natural law tells us that life never stands still. That's called death. You can see that the water behind those cups is already being stirred by the winds of change. With the astrological correspondence of Moon in Cancer on this card, you're going to be in a time of flux over the next 4 weeks, which could seriously disturb your emotional state and mood. It's vital that you're not at the mercy of being tossed about and potentially capsized by overpowering waves of feeling, both your own and those of others around you. I also feel that those of us who are already imagining the new Earth, particularly, may feel impatient and dissatisfied with the apparent lack of progress. Change is not happening as fast as we may want, and the way ahead that feels so spiritually present is not at all clear on a more material, practical level. It could be easy to become apathetic, disillusioned, and unappreciative for the tremendous but as yet unrealized potential of this time. Here are a few suggestions to prevent you from falling into that trap. Keep a gratitude journal. At the end or the beginning of every day, write at least 3 things you're grateful for in your life. It doesn't matter how small those blessings are. What matters is that gratitude raises your energetic vibration. It connects you immediately to the source of those blessings and opens your mind to the possibility of more. Find a daily practice you can commit to regularly that calms your mind, steadies your emotions, and regulates your nervous system. It can be as simple as a few minutes of deep breathing, a meditation practice you love, or mindful exercise such as yoga or tai chi. Something that slows you right down and brings you back into the present moment. Allow yourself space to daydream and imagine freely how you'd like your life and the world to look and feel. Now's not the time for action, that will come later when the way ahead crystallizes into definite form. For now, let it be enough to tap into that vast well of inspiration and intuition on the inner planes. Look for the possibilities that are open to you and the people you can share them with. Appreciate the people and close relationships already in your life, and the love, care, and security with which they surround you. It's easy to take for granted those who are always there, day in and day out. Try looking at these loved ones with new eyes, as if you'd only just met them, or they're an enigma you want to solve. Be curious. It's absolutely true that we can never know everything about anyone, so there's always something new to learn. Do they need to be blessed with more of your love and attention at this time? Or do you need to set them free to evolve on their own for a while, away from your influence as well-intentioned as it may be? Generally, this spiritual guidance April 2025 speaks about the importance of abundant love as a necessary luxury. Don't underestimate the power and impact of that most important of emotions on everything. The Beatles were onto something when they sang "All You Need Is Love." It's easy to love and appreciate those who love you. What about those who are antagonistic or openly hostile towards you? The ones you actively dislike for their behavior, their political views, or their lifestyle? What about the people society has branded unlovable or unacceptable? The many who have no family or friends, and rarely feel warmth and affection of any sort? Doesn't everyone deserve to know love and belonging? Globally, I think this is something the world is being called to account for now, especially given the crazy goings-on at a political and international level. What if the intention behind all legislation and governance was to ensure that every member of humanity felt appreciated, secure in having their basic needs provided for, and a respected part of a mutually supportive network? Relationships of all kinds, specifically how healthy and balanced they are, definitely come under the spotlight this month. Happenings on a global scale will continue to be unstable, confusing, and often deceptive. Draw on that inner stability to help you make sense of it all, and feel into the truth behind the spin. More and more much of mainstream media is designed to evoke negative emotions that ensure you remain powerless in fear. Don't get triggered by it. Guidance April 2025. From astrology, the eclipsed new moon in Aries determines a different direction for humanity. The aspect of Pluto in Aquarius suggests communities coming together to live according to their dreams, with nurturing and protecting a central concern. Intuition rather than logic points towards what to do and where to go. The days of the full moon in Libra, on the 13th of April, hold tremendous potency. Venus turns direct, as everything points to loving, caring responses. Hearts can open to the highest vision of what's possible, divisions can be healed. This is empowered further when Mercury moves into Aries and Mars into Leo, between the 16th and 18th. You can also expect some revelatory scandal in groups, or technological fields that help to challenge old accepted truths. All is uncertain, and intensity grows during the last days of the waning moon. Take nothing for granted. Cock, everyone is love-starved. My dear Earth friends, this is Cock speaking. I am glad to connect with you again. Frankly, pretty much everyone on Earth is starving for love. To get your love needs met, ideally you would need self-love, and loving parents, and a loving partner and children, and a loving community. And because most of you can't mind read yet, those would each need to express love with an intensity, and a regularity, and a heart openness, that would be considered bizarre on your world. If someone were to actually express that level of love to you, you might even feel unworthy, or not good enough even though you are fully worthy of all the love in the universe. Just rationally knowing that the people around you love you, isn't sufficient. Yes, it's good to rationally realize that people love you, but to be fully nourished you likely need people to actually express their love to you, regularly and deeply. It's easy to just love yourself, and certainly that is one very important component of it. However, most people currently also need love from other people to feel fully happy. And just denying that need isn't helpful. It's hard in practice to fully get enough love while being on Earth, but theoretically the solution is pretty straightforward. 1. Find good people to be around. If you can be part of a loving community, that's wonderful. 2. Express love to your loved ones, and most likely they will express it back to you. 3. Be gentle with yourself. Expecting yourself to be without flaws simply isn't realistic. In fact, you're doing amazing already if you're an at least partially awakened person on Earth right now, and if you're tuning into these messages, likely you are. So be gentle with yourself. It can also help at the end of every day to give yourself a compliment about one good thing you did that day, even if it's a small or a routine thing. So if you went to work, or meditated, or were kind to another person, great job, that was a good thing you did, and it's good to point that out to yourself. And if you think, but I didn't do enough today, who says that? Which law of physics prescribes that you objectively didn't do enough today? Perhaps you don't fully appreciate just how hard it is to be on Earth, and you don't have sufficient eyes for the things that you are doing well already. Those were my suggestions for today. Next up, let's observe that people often try to meet their needs in sneaky or manipulative or roundabout ways, if they don't think they can get their needs met directly. So for the rest of this message, let's look at how society is warped by Earth people not being loved enough and trying to get that need met indirectly. The left might say, everyone deserves a good life, and the right might retort that's not realistic, plus the left doesn't actually want a good life for right-wingers, so they don't actually want a good life for everyone. Conversely, the right might say, ideally, conditions should be such that everyone can build a good life for themselves in their own country. We don't have the resources here in the West to take care of everyone. And the left may not think that's good enough. While there are some differences between these left-wing and right-wing positions, the core sentiment is still the same. Decent people should have a good life. And Earth is so abundant, there are so many raw resources on your world, that in theory it would be easy for everyone to have a decent life. After all, why couldn't you build enough houses for everyone? Do you lack physical space? No, you don't. You could house everyone on the entire world just in Texas alone. Do you lack building material for so many houses? Clearly not. So why doesn't everyone on Earth have a house? Almost always when a broad or complex question is asked, there are multiple factors. But for today, let's zoom in on one factor. Everyone is love-starved. People see the amount of available love as being limited, and from one perspective, it is, because the amount of love that a person ideally needs is so much larger than the average person gets. And a famous singer gets much more love than a random nobody. Even a moderately successful person gets more respect and love than a burger flipper at McDonald's. A left-wing person expressing left-wing views gets more love and appreciation in left-wing circles than a right-winger, etc., etc. So you could see it as, everyone is standing in the queue for love, which I call the love me queue. And people feel there's not enough love for everyone, and so everyone tries to get ahead of everyone else in the love me queue, in order to get more love. One way in which people try to get ahead in the queue of other people is by virtue signaling. Expressing left-wing opinions so that other left-wingers give them some degree of appreciation and recognition. And it's effective to be more left-wing. than most, so that you stand out and people pay attention to you rather than to other left-wingers. Therefore the left tends to become ever more left-wing on social issues, to the extent that the Biden administration tried to replace the word mother with birthing person. Personally, I would call this love me signaling more than virtue signaling. Because what the virtue signaler often tries to accomplish is, well, to receive more love. Of course, the person promoting the left-wing position may also simply genuinely believe in it, and genuinely want to help people and improve society, from their perspective. Things and people are complex, not everything that people do is 100% motivated by them wanting more love. But it is an important factor. In fact, saying that all left-wingers are nothing but virtue signalers, as opposed to saying that some of them are, can be a way to put yourself ahead of left-wingers in the love me queue, and is therefore not that different from virtue signaling. Saying that all people of, for example, a certain political side are bad, can be a way to try to move ahead of them in the love me queue, as well as gain recognition and love from the people on your political side, who also dislike the other political side. Also, an often right-wing way in which people try to get ahead in the love me queue of other people is that they try to become richer or more famous or higher status than others. This is pretty straightforward. Richer, more famous and higher status people get more recognition and appreciation and love. Therefore people try to become richer and more famous and higher status, even to an extent that doesn't make sense. A billionaire already has far more money than he needs to live in comfort, yet he often spends his time trying to make even more money. Why? So he gets ahead of others in the love me queue. From one perspective this doesn't sound so bad, and absolutely sometimes rich people genuinely contribute a lot to society. But other times they bribe politicians to rewrite the laws in their favor, they establish quasi-monopolies, and then jack up prices. They eliminate or buy up competition, they brainwash the population by buying media and broadcasting propaganda, they poison the environment, they sell cures that make people sicker over time, etc. Some rich people absolutely do make people's lives worse, just so they can earn more money and get further ahead in the love me queue. There's also a clear trend that worker productivity is increasing, yet people's wages in real terms are actually decreasing, and all the while rich people and big businesses are becoming ever richer. This trend has gone so far that the rich barely even spend the money productively anymore. Why build a new factory when most people are too broke to buy things? Harvard Business School asked their graduates which hypothetical situation they preferred upon graduation. You make $160,000, and the rest of the students in the cohort on average get $150,000. Or, you make $200,000, and the rest of the students in the cohort on average get $220,000. 87% chose the first option. Source: www.youtube.com web link. So it's not about having enough for yourself. It's about earning more than others so that you're ahead of them in the love me queue. This is also why it's hard on your world to eliminate poverty. A whole lot of people are opposed to measures that would bring people who are currently behind them in the love me queue up to their own position in the love me queue. A person who makes $10 per hour doesn't want the minimum wage to be increased to $10 because then he's no longer ahead of minimum wage workers in the love me queue. It's not a bug in the system that minimum wage workers are struggling. That's a feature, because it means that other people can clearly see that those people are behind them in the love me queue, and thereby feel good about themselves. As the quote goes, it is not enough for me to succeed, others must fail. Even people who like the idea of communism often think of communism as money is taken from the rich and given to me. They're probably not thinking in terms of I'll have to start sharing my home or apartment with a homeless person or immigrant. They're probably also not thinking in terms of I'll be forced to donate money to Africans, who after all are generally poorer than myself. A modern rich left-winger probably doesn't actually want true communism to be established, because then he would no longer be richer, and therefore ahead of almost everyone in the love me queue. If he wants communism at all, then he wants a kind of communism where he's part of a vanguard that has more power or status or personal property than the average person. But it's probably more in the personal interest of a rich left-winger to not push communism, and instead to push social issues, or right-wingers' bad messages that don't endanger his own wealth, and therefore position, in the love me queue. In fact, pushing social issues, or right-wingers' bad messages, may even enhance his position, in the love me queue, because doing so looks good to other left-wingers. For example, let's look at the concept of reparations when it's pushed by a rich white person. The idea of reparations is that money should be given from the government, solely from the taxpayers, to black people as compensation for crimes committed against their ancestors. Consider for a moment how truly perfect it is to promote this concept as a rich white person who is interested in getting ahead in the love me queue. First of all, being in favor of reparations is a position that's further left than the average left-winger is. Therefore that puts you ahead of other left-wingers in the love me queue. Second, you can call everyone who disagrees with you racist. Therefore that puts you ahead of all right-wingers in the love me queue. Third, you can call other white left-wingers who are hesitant about reparations as not being as committed to racial justice as yourself. Therefore that puts you ahead of most white people in the love me queue. Fourth, by asking that black people be helped, you're effectively placing yourself above black people. After all, poor people don't ask that rich people are helped, and low-status people don't ask that high-status people are helped. So by asking that black people are helped, you're placing yourself above black people. So now you're ahead of black people in the love me queue too. And fifth, all of this doesn't actually cost you any money. You're asking that the government, solely the taxpayer, pays money to black people. You're not paying money to black people yourself. So you're maintaining your own wealth, and thereby position in the love me queue. So, calling for reparations is a truly wonderful idea if you're a left-winger who wishes to improve their position in the love me queue. The same argument goes for pretty much all radical left-wing ideas, and for pretty much all the right/Trump/Musk is bad type of messages. People who feel they can't get their needs met directly, such as their need of being loved, often will try to get it met indirectly, or in a manipulative or roundabout way. Note that your rational mind is mostly a rationalization machine that ties a pretty bow on the decisions that you make emotionally or subconsciously. Most decisions aren't made by your rational mind. And don't be too quick to think that this only applies to others, but not you. If you can't see how robotically, or emotionally, or irrationally, or subconsciously you sometimes behave, or used to behave, then probably you're still sometimes being robotic or emotional or irrational or subconscious even today. Which is fine, most people are like that, but then it is valuable to keep doing your spiritual and self-healing work. If you think I'm being too cynical, well, I'm just sharing my perspective. I think I'm just seeing clearly the plain truth of what happens on a world where people aren't loved enough and don't love themselves enough. After all, it's obvious that people who haven't eaten for 20 days will do just about anything to eat, right? Well, people who haven't been loved for 20 years will do just about anything for love. So, how to fix Earth society? Give yourself and others more love. Your star brother, Cock. The Andromedan Council of Light, accessing your spiritual gifts and abilities. We are the Andromedan Council of Light, and we are very excited to be connecting with you. You are doing wonderfully well, no matter where you are on the planet right now, no matter how it seems like you are doing there in your lives. You are living out a life that has meaning, has value, and that value cannot always be quantified or even acknowledged by others. Therefore, you must be able and be willing to acknowledge yourselves. You have so many more gifts within you to discover, and when you see someone else who has a gift that you don't have yet, you must realize that they are in your life, or in your awareness, to inspire you, to show you what is possible. Now, spiritual gifts and abilities can take time to come fruition. They can bubble up to the surface, but they can take much longer than you would like them to get to the surface. You are aware of your desires, and you are also aware of time, and that awareness of time can sometimes be an impediment for you, because you have your time frame in which you think it is appropriate for a desire to be manifested in your reality. But you never know what the bigger picture is, and that's why you must trust, and you must have faith, that whatever it is you desire to experience in your life will come to you, and that holds true especially for spiritual gifts and abilities. There are so many more than you can even imagine that are within you right now, and you don't have to try hard to get to them, to make them bubble up to the surface for you. But in actuality, the opposite is true. You have to relax and allow them to come to the surface. Oftentimes, that involves you just being yourself and being true to yourself. It involves you living a life of joy and freedom, and we also want to caution you against holding the belief that your life won't really start until you access at least one of your spiritual gifts, because that is not true. You can live a full and satisfying life right now, no matter where you are, no matter what you are doing, by making that choice. You can pat yourself on the back just for being there and having a life experience on Earth, or you can get down on yourself and wag your finger at yourself and ask yourself why you haven't exploded yet in all of the gifts and abilities that you know of and that others have shown you are possible. Which one feels better to you? You must ask yourselves that question, because it is an important question, and it will always be an important question. Follow the flow of the good feelings in order to experience more good feeling things out there in your reality. But if you're waiting for all the good things to show up first so that you can live a joyous life, well then you're going about it backwards. Think about a child that has fun playing with a stick, or a box, or a rock, and you will see what is possible for you in your life. You can just as easily be satisfied with your ability to breathe consciously as you can be by some spiritual gift or ability that you haven't accessed yet. And when you are fascinated by your ability to close your eyes and take a conscious breath, you will see just how much you can get out of that simple experience. It may be simple, but it is profound, and it can be life-altering. And the more you do it, the more you will discover in terms of what is possible for you. Taking small steps, one at a time, lead to a much longer journey, and they will lead to you to everything that you want, if you trust that all it takes is for you to keep going. But if you believe that you must make these giant leaps, and that it must be one giant leap after another, then you will be stuck waiting for the first giant leap to occur. Do yourselves a favor if you want to access more of your spiritual gifts and abilities. Just tune into what's going on in your heart, and do it often, and do it for as long as you can. We promise you that everything that you want is contained within that space, and we know that each and every one of you has the ability to focus there, but you have to demonstrate it to yourselves first. We see more and more people doing this all the time, and we see the results in their lives, and we want all of you who receive this message from us to also experience those wonderful results. We are the Andromedan Council of Light, and we have enjoyed serving you in this way. Source: arrayoflight.com. The other videos are in the English video playlist. Help me spread the light. Click like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.